Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Hump Day edition of the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, brought to you by these guys, Lay of the Land. And I look so forward to our daily meetup. We have viewers from all around the world. In fact, today's question comes from Glasgow in Scotland. And Miriam, whose question it is, if I didn't have to broadcast on another channel later, I would join you for a dram. But without further ado, let's get into those top stories. It is day 425. We don't forget for a second that there are still 101 hostages being held in unbearable conditions now for 425 days. Mandy Damari, the mother of Emily Damari, the last British hostage being held, has spoken out quite widely across various media in the United Kingdom. Yesterday I brought you that story that she had written to His Majesty King Charles. She told the BBC she fears her daughter may not be alive, and if she is still alive, she is being held in the most dire, horrific and rapidly worsening conditions. Just as an aside, I know some of you are talking about the dog. I have complained to the neighbors. Unfortunately, they don't seem to be wanting to do anything about it. So if you don't mind, we will just have the added chorus in the background. But let's get into those top stories, and we begin with news that the IDF struck targets very close to Damascus International Airport yesterday. The target of the strike was Hezbollah's senior military connection to the Syrian military. Now, we don't have any further details than that, but we do know that he was a conduit in helping to conduct weapons smuggled from Syria through to Lebanon. Meanwhile, the situation continues to unfold in Syria. Israel is watching closely, as the chief spokesperson for the IDF said the other day that Syria is for the Syrians and Israel has no intention of getting involved there. However, we will defend our borders. Jerusalem has hit out at UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy for tweeting out yesterday that he had written a letter to Jerusalem, joined by the UK and France, tweeting out to say that Israel needs to increase the amount of aid and do something about the unacceptable humanitarian conditions in the Gaza Strip. Well, I'm going to read to you from Oren Marmorstein. He is the spokesperson from Israel's Foreign Ministry, who said that, I'm going to read to you from his tweet. He says that Israel is facilitating the entry of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip and does not impose any restrictions on the quantity of aid entering the Strip. However, within the Gaza Strip, the international organizations are failing to distribute the aid due to looting by Hamas, among other reasons. We know from COGAT announcing today that at least 31 patients and caregivers have been removed from Gaza, where they will seek medical care in Jordan, and about 780 of those aid trucks are still waiting for collection. The spokesperson went on to make two other points. He said that Lammy and his European counterparts failed to address the October the 7th massacre and the daily attacks on Israeli civilians, and also address the issue of the hostages. He also took a little bit of a throwing of shade by saying that Israel will answer the letter through the proper channels and not through X. Oof. The shade. Meanwhile, David Lammy invited the Qataris, the Emir of Qatar and the Sheikh, as well as the Prime Minister of Qatar, to the United Kingdom for an official state visit. The chief of the Shabak, Ronen Bar, will head to Cairo later today to start ceasefire talks. Now, this has been reported by a Qatari news outlet. We don't have too many details. We do know that earlier in the week, Hamas signaled a readiness to start negotiations, and have also signaled that they might be amenable to a gradual withdrawal of IDF troops from the Gaza Strip. Of course, we hear contradicting reports from Hamas all the time. They have been quite firm since the start of the war that no ceasefire and no release of hostages unless the IDF completely withdraw. But with all their top leadership completely decimated, let's see how we progress with this. Again, I just want to reiterate, no more details have been shared. And finally, some good news, and I'm so glad that we are able to end several broadcasts this week with some good news, and that is Paraguay's president, Santiago Peña, will travel to Jerusalem, where he will open his country's embassy in Israel's capital. Paraguay will become the 6th country to have moved its embassy to Israel's eternal capital. He will also address the Knesset on the 11th of December. Some welcome news indeed. So let's get to that question. It comes from Miriam in Glasgow, and she says, Rolene, you said that you live in Modiin. Isn't Modiin the city of Hanukkah? Yes, Miriam. Modiin is the city of Hanukkah, something that we are very, very proud of. So if you are familiar with the story of Hanukkah, you would have heard about Judah and the Maccabees. They come from this area. In fact, just a very short drive away from our house, about 5 minutes. The graves of the Maccabees are rumored to be there, and you can see archaeological excavations around the city every now and then. We even have our own museum, the Hashmonaim Museum, a museum to Hanukkah and the Maccabees. And I really wish you all come and visit us here soon, and I will personally take you to that museum myself. So those are our top stories and the question for the day. I am getting your recommendations and your nominees for the Mensch and the Moron of the week. So keep them coming. I will give you those results tomorrow. And a reminder, if you have a question just like Miriam has, pop it in the comments section below. And just a reminder that you can check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. I have an article on there about the hostages, about the medical situation they find themselves in. It is also up on our Facebook page at Lottel's site. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5, on Instagram at Rolene_Marks, and on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks. So guys, have a wonderful rest of your day from me and the neighborhood dog. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Bye for now.